Hello neighbor, I'm Robert Burns and welcome once again to another edition of Sound Off Louisiana. And today it is my distinct privilege and honor. Many of you are familiar with the website that we created, NoPennyRenewal.com. It was created about 7 months ago, and in its original format it highlighted the votes, the specific times that individual legislators voted in favor of one or more measures for the sales tax renewal. As most people will know, it came up quite a bit. And because the website became so convoluted, it became a lot easier, as we've mentioned to you in a previous episode we just put out, to just go in and overhaul the site so that we could emphasize only on those candidates who are presently incumbents who voted no every single time. And one of the things that frustrates me is everybody will be so quick to say, well, John Bel Edwards raised taxes, John Bel Edwards raised taxes, John Bel Edwards raised taxes, and that's true. But just like the old dance or the words for the song, it takes two to tango, okay? John Bel Edwards would not be able to do anything without getting it through the legislature, and the first frustrating part is it requires a 2/3 vote to increase these taxes. And so he had quite a number of Republicans who went along with this. We're going to be featuring challengers to some of those Republicans, and it's my distinct honor today, and we're going to make official endorsements, the first of which is being done today. And it is my distinct honor and privilege to be able to visit with you today with Mr. Keith Baudin. Mr. Baudin, it's very pleasurable to get to come and visit with you. He is a candidate for District 46. District 46, the incumbent at present is Mike Huval. Mike Huval voted yes on the sales tax measures, both on May the 25th and May the 28th. We've supplied that directly beneath Representative Huval's bio, and you can click on those links if you have any doubt that he did so vote. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to hopefully future Representative Baudin, and let him introduce himself to you, and then we'll follow up with just a few questions. So today it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Keith Baudin, what I'm hoping is future State Representative Keith Baudin. So Mr. Baudin, why don't you take a few moments to introduce yourself to our viewing audience?
Hello, I'm Keith Baudin. I'm running for State Representative in District 46. It's my goal to promote Louisiana as for current businesses and future businesses. We need to be more business friendly to the companies that are here and the companies that want to come here. We need to lower taxes. We need to get rid of the lawsuits that the governor is imposing on our businesses, and we just need to be a more business friendly. The more business we have, the more people we're putting to work. We're putting our people back to work. The more business we have in Louisiana, the higher the taxes are going to be in Louisiana without increasing the tax rates that the taxpayers are paying.
Well, that sounds like a great platform, and obviously we are in St. Martinville, Louisiana. As he mentioned, he's a lifelong resident there, and we're kind of in the middle of the Acadiana oil patch area, along with the Houma, Thibodaux area, Morgan City. What are your thoughts about the impact that Governor Edwards' focus on the legacy lawsuits and suing some of the biggest job creators, the oil and gas industry, and in fact even employing some of his key campaign staffers, and that particularly a gentleman named T. Taylor Townsend, who headed his Super PAC to lead the efforts in filing these lawsuits? What kind of an impact would you say that's had on the area economies of this state under the Governor John Bel Edwards' administration?
The oil and gas industry has always been the backbone of Louisiana's economy. We need to work with the oil and gas industry and not try and sue them. These legacy lawsuits the majority of them are ridiculous lawsuits that go back and sue the oil companies, every oil company that has been involved in a single well. They can go back for as much as 20 years. You're suing for little to no damage on property for millions of dollars, where Texas, our neighboring state, also has legacy lawsuits, but they limit the lawsuits to the value of the property. They make it reasonable. They make it affordable for oil companies to be able to take those risks into consideration when making a decision on where to drill. Texas is booming and Louisiana is dead in the water. We need to get our rigs back working here in Louisiana. We need to put our people back to work. legacy lawsuits, the severance tax that oil companies pay here in Louisiana is 12.7%, where they can drill the same well in Texas and pay a 3.4% severance tax. We have to equal the playing field. We have to make it attractive for oil companies, for car manufacturers, for any business that wants to do business in the state. We have to make it attractive for them to come here. Even if it's not oil companies, other businesses can see what Louisiana is going through, what the businesses in Louisiana are going through. And a business is not going to want to relocate to a state that sues the businesses that do work in their state. We have to be more business friendly and less sue happy. We have to work with the businesses that can work here, that can employ our people, and we have to make it a friendly state for business. And it's going to help all around, not just the oil companies, it'll help all around.
Well, and I think that's a very astute observation. And let me just say this, you made an excellent point with regard to the specificity of the oil industry, but it expands beyond that. This governor has an incredible fixation with taxation, even though, as everyone would know, and we've got it on the homepage of nopennyrenewal.com, he was flat asked a question 4 or 5 days before the election by the moderator, will you raise taxes on businesses or individuals? And his one-word answer was no. Okay, and yet for the 3.5 years or so that he's been in, all we've seen is tax, 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 and I mean from a wide swath of areas that could be taxed. He has targeted just about everything. So we're going to give you a direct link for future Representative Baudin's website. I think you will easily see his pretty adamant no tax stand, but just for the record, I'll have you reiterate it again to the viewing audience. Mike Huval, as we pointed out, certainly voted yes on 2 occasions for the sales tax hike, both on May the 25th and May the 28th. And it's myself personally and a number of others believe this was completely, utterly unnecessary, that there is a ton of lard and fat in the budget, but there's an unwillingness to go after it. Now, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but would you echo those sentiments? Do you agree with that?
I will never vote for a new tax, but there's so much money in the budget. We have a $33 billion budget. There's places where money can be saved. We need to work on saving money. We need to work on being more economical in the money we spend. We need to cut out the waste in spending. We need to cut out all of the cronyism in spending. We need to work on saving money instead of running to the taxpayers every time they want a new project. There's things that need to be done, and there's a lot of things that we don't need to have done. We need to get rid of the things that don't need to be done and spend our money wisely. We need leadership in Baton Rouge. We don't have it. We need leadership that's going to look out for the taxpayers before they look out for their backers.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'll just say I've had several constituents that are in this area. By the way, I'm understanding there's quite a bit of excitement about your campaign, even though it's really on its infancy stages. You've got quite a bit of positive feedback on this challenge effort, have you not? I'm
getting tremendous feedback, all positive. I'm really amazed at the positive feedback that I'm getting. We're starting slow. I'm a first-time candidate. I'm not a career politician, and I'm learning as I go. But everything has just been falling into place. My website went live Friday. That website is votebaudin.com. That's VOTEBAUDIN.com. Please visit it. If you agree with me, let me know. Send me a message.
And then one last thing, a couple of those constituents have expressed some concerns that they really don't believe there's adequate oversight over some of the expenditures that are made at the state level. And certainly we've had some prominent examples of that. The legislative auditor recently issued a report that identified up to about $80 million in Medicaid-related fraud from this governor's decision to expand Medicaid. We've had some questionable problems with regard to hurricane recovery funds. Some of the longtime Sound Off Louisiana viewers may recall feature we did with regard to a gentleman named Corey Delahousse, who identified $52 million in such FEMA-related fraud, and the payments ultimately were not made in the aftermath of Hurricane Gustav. If you are successful in your efforts, is it your plan to get with the Legislative Auditor's Office and really look into the level of fraud? You know, they always say fraud, waste, and abuse, but specifically fraud, and work to see to wring some of this out of the system, because there are many that believe if we could do that, we not only would eliminate the so-called budget cliffs that we keep hearing about over and over again, but we'd actually be running surpluses. So can you comment on your plans for looking into safeguards to see that Louisiana taxpayers aren't subjected to fraud?
Well, there are auditors that are currently working right now, but there's oversight that needs to be over the auditors, because some of these auditors can kind of run off down their own path and hurt some of the business people that are doing work for the state. There's a gentleman here in Breaux Bridge that is out over $1 million, and it's because auditors don't want to do the proper paperwork to get them to get the person his money. You know, there's no reason for that. And you know, if the Attorney General's office needs to get involved, then so be it. But we need to take care of the people that are working here in the state. And you know, this fraud and abuse, just it has to end.
Well, and I would concur with those sentiments exactly. And I think those of you who have followed my blog for some time know that if I'm going to go ahead and formally make an endorsement, as we're doing here for this website, it's not something I take lightly. It's not something that I would just do willy-nilly. And we're believing we're going to have other, in fact, I can virtually guarantee you there will be other such candidates for other districts, be it in the Louisiana Senate or in the House. You just happen to be the guinea pig, and I will just tell you that I'm very pleased with our initial guinea pig. Hope you don't mind that little...
No, not at all. I'm enjoying it.
Well, very good. Well, folks, remember the election is October the 12th. Yes, that's some, I don't know, 8.5 months ago, but time really does fly. And so our very first endorsement, and you heard him say it, folks, he, unlike the incumbent Mike Huval, who voted for these two sales tax measures, you heard it straight out of the man's mouth. If he is elected, he will not support any new tax. That's what the man said. And so with that, we'll go ahead and conclude this interview. It has been a real pleasure to get to meet you. And we are going to wish Mr. Baudin the very best of luck in October. Remember, you've got to get out and vote in order to put somebody over that. Defeating an incumbent is never easy, make no mistake about it. Right. But I believe this gentleman's up for the challenge. We hope you've enjoyed our first endorsement. We believe there are going to be some more coming. And we're looking forward to a new legislative makeup next year, and also a new governor. And so this is Robert Burns thanking you once again for tuning in to this Sound Off Louisiana feature. We'll see you again real soon. Thank you again.
To the people of District 46, please help me take our state back. Thank you.
Thank you again.